Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Hat Has a Podcast. It's been one of those mornings where I don't like to be ungrateful. I love her so much. Where she's just, gosh, a lot of emotions today, very close to the surface, just a lot. And actually, so I'm actually just delighted to be here without my baby for about 2 hours. So I'm so sorry. Is that a thing that we're allowed to acknowledge? Is that see, leaving your baby to go to work is a whole emotional kind of kaleidoscope for a lot of women. But actually, there are some days where you're like, take her, just take her from my arms, please. One of those 2 hours. I'm just going to enjoy it. I have to own up to. I've said this story on the Hot Water Green Room podcast, but I don't think there's probably that much of a crossover. So I want to own up to being just so desperately uncool and really having it handed to me this month. I didn't really grow up going to music festivals. That wasn't really my vibe. Make of that what you will, but I was not a music festival gal. I mean, I've obviously had my rant about Portaloos in a festival field, so I think you all understand that. You probably gleaned that. I was asked to do a festival, as we all are during the summer times, us comedians asked to like ferry around to different festivals and do the comedy tents. And I got asked to do this one and I was like, great, saw the message, read the name of the festival, saw what time they needed me, wrote it in my diary. I can't tell you how many people I told I was doing the Atta Festival. The Atta Festival. I was like, I'm doing Atta in a few weeks. People were like, what's that? I was like, I don't know, Atta. They're like, Atta, where's that? I was like, oh, Lancashire somewhere, Atta. I just assumed, I was like, gosh, this must be such an exclusive little festival. So few people seem to know what it is. I must not be many of us have been asked, or it's quite a like chic little boutique festival. Beat Herder Festival. It was Beat Herder Festival. Here's me off to Atta. Why would I don't know whether I needed the hyphen between it, but yeah, Atta Festival, the whole few weeks beforehand. So that's me trotting off to Atta Festival. Can I tell you, I had a lovely time at Atta or Beat Herder, whatever you want to call it. I'm choosing Atta. I had a lovely time at Atta Festival. A lot of like very attractive cat heads in a field in the sunshine. Don't hate it. Don't hate it at all. Some lovely foods. Some not lovely food. Comedy Tent was a great time. So thank you to Atta Festival for hosting such a beautiful day. I really do appreciate it. Things I don't appreciate. Now I'm going to be really honest with this one. I had a week. Listen, Mercury's just come out of retrograde. We've obviously all survived it just about. It has been, I don't need to tell you what a few weeks we've all had. End of June, beginning of, and first 3 weeks of July. There are times I'm still. So yeah, I've had a couple of like fairly horrendous comments on either DMs or YouTube recently, and there's a type of horrendous comment I sort of slightly weirdly respect. First of all, I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to look back on podcasts. I'm going to rewatch clips and go, gosh, Hat, you were really quite aggressive and like poorly thought through in that. And if I'd gone back, I probably wouldn't have said it like that. I think I'm still working out, like it is obviously just me in a room and I'm not making any excuses. I'm working this out. This is a first time for me doing a podcast by myself. Sometimes and because I remember when Kay and I did our podcast, we could come in for occasionally. And we did do it occasionally where we'd come in and go, I'm just not in a good headspace. Do you mind ruddering this one? Like, do you mind kind of steering this one a bit better? And the other person absolutely did. I think that's where great co-creatives and great mates are so good to each other, is you can have those conversations. Obviously, when I come in either PMSing or just in an aggy place or in a sad place, whatever, you just kind of get it full brunt because I've got no one being like, Hattie, thank you, whoa. So I sort of do respect when people, like there was one comment on one of the clips being like, oh, I don't think that comment was necessary. And I was like, I actually think you're dead on. I think you're bang on. I'm really sorry. I'll always say sorry. I think I don't have a great deal of strengths or major life attributes, I suppose, but I think I'm really good at saying sorry and really acknowledging when I've gone awry. So I don't mind those. However, so honestly, I kind of respected that guy being like, oh, I don't think that was the one. And I was like, no, you're right, dead on. Apologies. If, however, you slide into my DMs and with a slew of just vile words and saying things like how unlucky my daughter is to have me and how I'm a vile cretin and I should die and blah, 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 you're just going to get blocked. You're going to get blocked from every account. As I've said multiple times in this podcast, the mother my daughter does get, however fucking horrendous you think she is, the mother my daughter gets is dependent on me protecting my peace, holding my boundaries, making sure that I'm in a good headspace and I'm going home feeling like I have a full cup for her, and I'm up for the challenge of being a vaguely responsible woman and parent. And you'll just get blocked. I don't think they're necessary. I don't think I can't imagine the headspace you have to be in to send those. And I don't need to imagine the headspace you have to be in to send those. So I just block it. I just block. And if you all think that's really precious, then I totally understand. But I think there's a way of feeding back. And like I said, I really don't object to it. I don't object to people coming in and going, I'm a fan, but I didn't really like when you said that. And I think as comedians, we are so skewed by each other. The things we joke about, the way we speak, the sort of lack of sensitivity and care often we take with our words when we're just around each other, we need to be held accountable for. So I don't disagree with it. But I suppose what I'd ask is, this podcast did, for better or for worse, start out with me saying, I think maybe we all just need a 45-minute hug on John Lewis. And sometimes I know I don't uphold my end of the bargain on that. And maybe I'm a bit aggy and harsh. But I don't know, aren't we all? Aren't we all just... We have days where we drop the ball a bit, or we finish the day and go, that wasn't my best self, actually. I would probably work harder on her tomorrow. But like I said, those comments will just get a hard block, and I'm not sorry. And I don't need to renege on that. They just will get a hard block. So thank you, Annabelle, for that. And Alan. Alan, we need to talk about Alan. Alan sent me a comment on one of the Hot Water Green Room podcasts saying she's let herself go since the last pod. And so I responded saying, that's nice, Alan. And he came back saying, no, you're right. That was actually a bit uncalled for. And I kind of respect it. That's Alan doing what I've just said, which is going, no, do you know what? That was bad. And I actually haven't really got a problem with it. It obviously made me spiral for the week and feel completely disgusting and like I'll never be fine or fuckable ever again. But so what I did is I went to Barry's. Barry's is where I work at, Barry's boot camp, and worked out in my crop top. And that is such a big thing for me, working out in just a crop top without a top over the top, like with my sports bra. And I was like, no, fuck it. Get your crop top out. Stare at that body in the mirror, that imperfect body that you have. Maybe that we all have. We all have our blemishes and our bits and our lumps and our bumps. And look at that body in the mirror and work out. Because fuck Alan. Except no, actually Alan, you're quite funny. Fuck it. Don't go down that route. Don't go cover up. Don't hide. Don't do the thing. So that was my win for the week, working out in just my crop top and Barry's. Sorry for anyone else. It was like, I could have done without. But yeah, so thank you, Alan, for spurring me on to bigger and better. Do you know, I had a really lovely thought this week. And again, this is probably a bit dated, so really sorry. I suddenly realised with Pickles, I'll walk her down the aisle. Like if she ever decides she wants to get married, I'll walk her down the aisle. And that might not be particularly radical or revelatory to anyone else, because I know there's a lot of people now who are waving off the patriarchal nature of a wedding day and having their mum and their dad walk them down the aisle, or having someone else walk them down the aisle. But I think I probably have grown up in quite a traditional environment, and so the idea of me being the person to walk her down the aisle, I was like, oh, I love that. What a lovely thought that is. I suppose I'm just saying that for the people who are either single mummying, single parenting, or are thinking about it. I every now and again, I think of a lovely thing that I'm going to get because of our situation. And I liked that one very, very much. I did. Okay, this episode with our wonderful guest, who I had a whole lunch with yesterday, because I think she's magic. This is going to be quite a moon-based episode. I'm really sorry for those of you who feel like it's all a bit woo-woo and beyond you, but I actually don't think you'll feel that way by the end of the episode, I hope. But it is going to be quite a moon-based one. This is a a co-lover of the moon, who I have on today. And so I thought, in keeping with that, I'm going to do a curiouser section. It's a very short one. I think maybe a lot of you know it. I maybe just didn't. Did you know when owls twit twoo, it's not one owl, it's two different owls? If you hear a twit and a twoo, like a quit, I'm not going to say I'm a bird whisperer, but like they're like quit, twoo, that's the lady and the man talking. It's tawny owls. The twit is the lady, I believe. Oh, here she goes. Gendering owls. Misgendering owls, if you will. But isn't that lovely? A twit twoo. Obviously, me and Pickles are really balls deep in animal noises right now. P.S. Those of you writing children's books out there with like giraffes and zebras and rabbits, really screwing us over. I'm out. I get creative, like camel, we spit. I don't spit, obviously, but like we do the sound. I'm getting creative with but some of them, hedgehog, get fucked. Get out of here. What am I supposed to do with the hedgehog? I'm really trying. But the owls, twit twoo, not one owl, two owls. So that's something for you guys who are at home. Also balls deep in animal sounds with your toddler. Twit twoo, you need two owls for that make-believe, two of them. So there you go. There you go. You're welcome. Did you come to Haphazard for the biting news and current affairs that you thought it would be? Hello. We're doing owl communication today. You're welcome. My guest this week, I'm extremely grateful and flattered and joyous. We had her lovely lesser half on last week. It is, of course, the incredible Sorcha Frith. Hi.
Hi. How are you? I'm really nervous now my microphone is in the right place because Carl keeps telling me off.
Carl was actually really like patriarchy, right? Yeah. Like just being like, move it closer, but also slightly
away, move it
35 degrees, but also to the left. Unbelievable. I think get rid of him.
Yeah, please. Fire him. No, it's really nice to be here.
Oh, you're so good for doing this.
The funny thing is that we've never really spent any one-on-one time together. Like it's always like in a social situation.
In the groups, yeah.
Full of men. And then yesterday you had me around for like the nicest lunch.
It wasn't the nicest lunch. You're fibbing. I gave you burnt pizza and chicken Caesar salad.
I need you to go ask Carl, leave now and say to Carl, what is Sorcha's favourite foods? Because he's going to go, a burnt pizza, a Caesar salad, and if you'd added ice cream on, it would have been my dream meal.
I had Viennetta in the fridge. freezer. I had Viennetta.
Terrible host.
Oh my God, you have to come back. Oh, Jesus. So it was so nice. But it is that, I think, I obviously, and actually Michael has always said, Mike Rice has always said, it's like, you're so good with everyone's pizza. But no, you're so good at oven cooking pizza. You're the best girl for it. He's like, you're so good with all the girlfriends. You're so good with male comedians' girlfriends. And I was like, I think I know Carl isn't a male comedian, but he's very much like in that world. I was like, I sort of feel so like bad for all the boys' girlfriends. Yep. Like,
let me look after you.
Yeah, I sort of, obviously Carl's different, but with a lot of the male comedians, I always say like, the girlfriends of the male comedians must be need a little bit of reassurance, because the male comedians' lifestyles, they're here, there and everywhere, every night, like, in the nicest possible way, and they don't all, by the way. It would be so easy for them to cheat. It would be so easy for male comedians to cheat, because they're I was like, I just think to know that I'm a girl in this world who's not shit and not a crap one and not anyone you have to worry about, I think is so important. Not that anyone would. Not that any girls are like, oh my God, what an absolute 10. I hope she's not too close to my guy.
No, that's what I thought the first time.
I knew
I was like so worried and intimidated.
Knew it would, yeah. So
no, I think as well, when you go into those social situations, it's like jokes. Who's the funniest? Ego. And it's like, a lot. It's like when you meet someone like you, it's like actually nice to talk to.
That's nice.
And a woman, because I don't really like talking to men.
Well, I know this, and it's
it's
funny you should say that, Sorcha. I have to quite a lot.
Yeah, I don't think I couldn't do your job for that reason.
Just through all the boys.
Just have the sheer amount of male ego in the comedy field. It's a lot.
Real. And
then I also think, I say this to Carl, they have all this bravado and ego, but they're so, what's the word where they need so much validation?
Needy?
Like, was it good? Was I good? Was that okay? Did you enjoy it? It's like, Jesus, like
Sorcha.
that is so different from what you witness on stage to them in the green room.
Totally that. And I think what I love about at least my little corner of the male comedians, my sort of like closest, my little dungeon.
My little pen.
Yeah, exactly.
My little pen of male comedians.
My pen is it. My pen of men is, I think, over the years, I've so broken through the like dick swinging shell that you meet first. Yeah. And actually this little, like my little corner, they are also, they will. And I'll usually know you get the text message being like, oh, did everyone work with you and the baby? And it's like, you don't give a fuck about me and the baby. You want to tell me something, or you've got a little sad.
You're having a little opening line.
You've got a little sad. So you sit on the phone, have what's your little sad?
And talk to Hatty.
And talk to Hatty. I felt I got to the north, and honestly, I was like, I've sort of become a governess.
A nanny. A nanny.
It's exactly it.
So funny. But the thing is, like with these comedians,
yeah,
I was there from like the start.
Of course you were.
Because I was there when Hot Water was in Envy.
Yeah.
So me and Adam worked behind the bar together.
That's so
Adam would like take off his little Envy t-shirt, put on his little plaid button-up shirt. And go on stage, and Paul Smith was like starting to be a comedian.
Yeah,
they were all there, and like Carl was just there looking at me, like,
hello, Carl.
I'm here for Adam. I'll wait at the end of the bar till you finish work. But like, so I was there.
Yeah, of course you were. So, do you feel? How's a nice? I now don't. I don't see the ego so much with the boys, because I don't think they'd bother with me. Like they wouldn't put on their like chest beating, because it would be so like, oh, shut up, just immediately shut up. Did you find it funny when they all went through those their little pops, like their little like pops of eating, and being like, who the fuck are you?
I noticed it with Adam the most.
Yeah,
I noticed that, and then it kind of like this, and then came back.
I was gonna say, I know he had it, and he will say that. He'll say he had his little arrogant year or two. Yeah.
He's fine now, but I saw that go up, and it's probably like. It was a time when me and Carl weren't seeing Adam a lot. Like they've become a lot closer since Carl came back from Japan, and they worked together. Yeah. Like there was like a time where they were doing different things. Yeah. But yeah, I did see that.
It is. It must be. I sort of. Michael said to me, and it's a problem. He was like, "You don't give a fuck how famous people are." Mm-hmm. Like he's watched me open for like big American comics and like come out for drinks with us afterwards, and because he's one of my best friends and I always would, but he was like, "You don't give a fuck if people are famous," and he's like, and he was like, "And it's not even put on, you actually don't." I was like, I really don't. Like the only time I've ever been starstruck was the Spice Girls, and I stand by it. Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't speak. Couldn't fucking speak, and I was like,
in front of you, like in a concert.
In front of me, like I couldn't.
Oh yeah.
I was like, there's nothing in me. There's nothing in me. I can't speak, but. I don't really care. I think you know from this industry that all this stuff is so potentially fleeting. Yeah, it's such a moment, and I absolutely enjoy it, ride it. It's a crest, but to have this thing that you bump back down to earth on is the most important thing. To have this like, and Brennan and I just spoke about it. This sort of foundation of content and whatever for you when you crash back down, for you to crash back into.
Yeah, like I can see why so many people in the spotlight end up with their childhood sweetheart. Yeah, who knew them before it all and can ground them and are there for all the right reasons. Like you can see that because you can see the people who are there for the wrong reasons, and that's why. People like you are good, who ground people back down when maybe they're...
Yeah, they don't always like the grounding bit.
No, they need the grounding bit.
They don't always like
I don't even listen to the podcast. Like Carl comes home and I'm like, what did you discuss today? Because I'll never listen to it. Like it's not what I enjoy. And also I see them so much, I can't have that much of them in my life.
Yeah, of course.
Like there's times like when we're on like a social occasion and it's like, joke. And I'm like, no more funnies. Everyone just be quiet. Let's all calm down. Let's have a nice conversation. No more jokes. Jokes are finished.
Who did something boring this week? Let's all share our boring things.
The worst was we went to Leeds Festival a few years ago. It was me and my best friend Iona, and then like Adam and Carl. Yeah. I'm not sure if Steve was there. There was a few of us, and every 2 steps, it was like people launching the camera at me. Can you take a picture? I was getting on my last nerve at this point. And then Adam had the audacity, mid Arctic Monkeys, to do a 180 and turn and start talking to me. And I was like, Adam, Alex Turner is singing. Turn back around. How dare you? And then we were going home and we were getting on this bus. And I mean, it was like 1 a.m. We were waiting for this bus for an hour and they were still cracking jokes. And I was literally like head to him and he's like, please stop. No more jokes. And this is what people don't see about that side of being involved.
I know that you have to deal. We because I feel like have to deal with the Oh my God. No, they're brilliant. No, I'm so lucky to be their friend.
I'm so
no,
lucky
it's
to be
so
involved in
funny.
this.
It's so funny. But also, and we spoke about it yesterday, the parasocial relationship nature of it, which is and this is no shade on the fans. I actually have to say the fans of the Have a Word podcast, I've never had an issue with. I think they're largely lovely.
They're lovely.
Yeah.
And they're lovely when they come up to you and
exactly that.
nice.
And respectful and kind.
Yeah.
But they do, especially with the boys, I don't count myself in this, do feel like they know them.
Yeah.
And really know them.
And I
like,
get
really,
why.
Really, yeah.
I get why, because they do share so much of their personal lives. And that's probably what makes the podcast so successful.
Yeah.
Because they do feel like friends in your living room.
Yeah.
But then it is strange when you're having a conversation with someone and you're telling them something, they're going, I know. And it's like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Do you, obviously you don't listen or watch the podcast, but we had a moment when Carl did the episode last week and he agreed with me, which is, even though you're doing these podcasts where you are quite vulnerable, or not vulnerable, is probably the wrong word with Have a Word, but like you are quite open and you're quite free flowing with your information. It's still a version of yourself that turns up. It is still a version of yourself that like gets like clicked on just before you sit down.
Yeah.
Would you still be pretty confident? I mean, obviously you're his wife and you know him inside out, back to front, but you must know that there's the Carl that turns up and lives with you.
Yeah.
Who they don't get.
There's a sillier Carl. Like,
the
thing is, Carl is very, very funny on the podcast,
He
but
is.
he's funnier at home.
Yeah.
Like, he is so silly.
Yeah.
And like in a really like soft way, in like
Yeah.
a really nice way. It's not all like what you see on the podcast. So I definitely get
Yeah.
a version of Carl at home. But bits I've seen of the podcast, especially when he's telling stories, like Carl's really respectful. Like he's probably sat out there right now really worried because I'm the one who takes it too far. Carl knows when to stop the story. There's been times he's telling a story, I'm like, oh God. Like I know where this is going. And he stops it where I'm like, blah, 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 blah. Here's all I can hear him laughing. He probably knows.
Yeah.
I'm the one who gives all the information away. So he's probably panicked. He's like, thank God he's the editor.
I was going to say, he's out there
"You
editing
can't go too
live.
far."
Like, can't have like...
He said to me, he's like, remember, it's not live. Like, I can edit you.
He's actually turned your microphone off.
Yeah, I'm just like miming right now. But no, there's definitely a different side to all the boys. Like even Adam's a lot softer than what you see.
Very
on the
much
podcast.
so. Yeah. And I love that. I think it's my favourite thing of, as you get to know them all, just getting the real stuff. And it makes you... I think that's probably why, and I say the Northwest because I never ever felt this in London. I think the Northwest comics, as much as we all like give each other shit, I mean, the roast is a perfect example. Like you give each other shit, taking chunks at each other. They're also all quite protective. Like I feel like we're all quite protective of each other. Like we can,
you can say it, but no one else.
One else can. It's exactly that. Like when I get it a lot when I'm going down south. They're like, oh, you one of the Have a Word girls, and you're like. I have never been treated with anything less than maximum respect, maximum time. The boys are so supportive. I mean, Jesus, this podcast is because Adam and Carl sat me down. They're like, we really want to put this on. And I was like, you can't be that stupid. Michael had it recently. I shouldn't probably say that's his story.
When was
but
he
like,
Mike
Rice. Yeah.
Okay, I'm like, who's Michael?
Sorry, we've worked this out. And actually, someone will talk about Have a Word. Michael and I never knew each other. We didn't overlap in Chicago. Mike was there first and then I was there afterwards.
Yeah.
But all our mutual best mates out there were the same. And when he was out there, he was going under Michael Rice. He had this leaflet for Edinburgh.
Yeah.
And it was going under Michael Rice. And so I just always, he was sat in my head as this Michael Rice. So it always sounds like he's in trouble.
Michael. Like, who is Michael?
Like it just always sounds like I'm talking about him like he's in trouble.
Yeah.
But yeah, he had it recently where someone was like giving it about like someone he worked with, and you're like, you can't be that narrow, you can't be that ignorant, you can't be that stupid to think that there's not another deeper, more honest version of all these people than
because at the end of the day, they are performers.
Yeah,
like that is their job.
Yeah,
like, they say things for controversy. They say things, to get a reaction from each other as well. Like imagine having a podcast twice a week with the same people all the time. Like you do have to bring those
a little spice.
Triggers.
Yeah, I know. You're absolutely right.
But enough about men.
Enough about men.
We've done the men now.
Serica, we did that.
Enough about men.
So you're, and it's an absolute handbrake turn into femininity.
Children.
Serica did. She came around yesterday. We had a lovely lunch, and we did my tarot and our birth charts.
They were good.
Yeah, they were.
I felt like I knew you a lot better after I saw your birth chart.
Yeah, it's a funny one that I love. I love
how you gave me. I thought you were going to give me like your phone with an app, and you came like, I've got 2 sets of printouts. Now, which one do you want to look at?
Those of you listening will probably guess my sun sign from that.
Virgo.
The most Virgo. I had printouts, they're stapled. They're two different
They
types.
were so
I wasn't sure if you
organised,
wanted to-
sliding
Yeah.
across the desk like it was a business proposition. Like, would you like to see? Would you like to see my inner dark self?
But it's printed out in really in a very easy holdable format.
The thing is, I always say to people, like, well, what's your birth date? And I'm like, put it in my app. I'm like, that is the most personal information you can give me because I know everything about you now.
Thank you.
Everything. I know everything.
Everything.
And it's
about
quite
it.
interesting.
It is. And I love doing that. There's a question I want to ask someone who is much further into that world and that the sort of that world is the right thing than I am. Your family's Irish, aren't they?
Yeah.
And did you grow up religious?
I came from a coven, a family of witches. No, I did grow up religious, so very Catholic. So my mum's one of 9. She left Ireland to chase after my dad at 18, like ran all the way back to England to follow him. He sent her back. She ran all the way. They had me. Well, they got married. They had me. And so my mum was very religious, like has family have had to give babies up for adoption because it wasn't accepted. Yes, but then my mum went into family support with like on the council estate in Blackpool and saw a lot of young girls getting pregnant and then became this massive contraception warrior who was like, she would leave condoms on my bed before I'd even had a first kiss. I was like, Serica, I only slept with your father and I really regret it. I want you to have as much sex as possible, but safely. Like, this was my mum. I did do the whole communion and the confirmation. She would force me to go to confession. I had to make up lies to the priest.
God, do you remember oh my God, I remember confession before my communion.
Father, I've sinned. I've had 2 extra biscuits on the biscuit tin, not knowing what I'm saying because I'm being forced in there. The last time she had me do that, we were in Ireland. I'm sure I was like 20 and she forced me into the confession box. I was like, right. So I told the priest everything. I was like, sex for marriage, this, that, the other. I came out and told her. She never made me do it again. I brought shame on the family. Like, I had to really rebel to get out of it.
So it's like, I'd love you to confess, but like the biscuit thing again. Yeah, could you just do the biscuit confession? Could you say the real
Stop
shit?
it.
Yeah. God doesn't need all of it.
So I don't know where this question was going, but yes, I grew up religious.
Because what I think
Back to
about
astrology.
No. But this is I sometimes wonder whether, and I do feel like there's been a recent uptick and surge in people being into astrology and talking about astrology and being more like focused on it and at least knowing they're like
it's
this,
TikTok.
it's social
so
media.
People are getting into it through TikTok. But when people tell me astrology's bullshit, astrology's this, I'll take it all on. But I will say the people who are into astrology are the ones that are doing a lot of self-reflection and are learning about themselves more. Astrology will make you sit down and think about who you are, how you react to things, why you are the way you are, which other people aren't doing.
Yeah.
Other people aren't doing that self-reflection.
Totally.
And that's what it makes you do. Like, we sat down yesterday and you were like, oh, because I've got a watery moon, this is why I'm reacting so emotionally, even though my sun sign doesn't say that about me.
Exactly that. But I sometimes wonder whether part of the reason, I mean, I think you're completely right, it's TikTok, and also in a world where we're all being encouraged to sort of therapize. I think astrology it comes under that umbrella a lot of the time, which is it can give you that accountability and like checking in on your own behaviors and your own shortcomings and why you're doing this and blah, blah, blah. But I sometimes also wonder that we are now in such a secular society. We are a society where faith doesn't hold the central focal point that it always did.
Like our morals.
Our like how we behave, what we do on a Sunday. Also communities aren't based around the church anymore. Whether actually astrology is sort of weirdly proof that humans still want a faith. They want a faith in something that's bigger than them, a faith in a sort of... We call it the moon, we call it the stars, but it used to be called God and Jesus.
We're all looking for understanding, aren't we?
Yeah.
Like, we're all looking for something that's a guide us or help us understand things better. And that's what it is. And I think the reason I have such a problem with religion, and like I talk to my mum about this a lot because she is still quite religious and likes that. I'm like, but why is it always governed under what men want?
Yeah.
Like, faith is just what men want.
Yeah.
And like, that's why I find it so difficult. And it really excludes women. Maybe if that was more open to women, we'd be a bit more open to it. But all I see is it hates women.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Pickles and I were doing her Noah's Ark the other day.
Yeah. There's only women on the ark.
Babe, Noah and his 6 sons organised this whole fucking boat.
No, they didn't.
All the animals get fucked. They did.
No, they
She's
didn't.
not even named that woman.
Yeah.
It's Noah,
This is why
his
it annoys
sons,
me.
their wives, and you're like,
Who?
you're telling. No names, no, Mrs. Noah. I was like, let me be absolutely clear. If it was up to a group of men to build an ark, get 2 of every animal on the ark, save the whole of like humanity and nature, you best believe there'd be like 3 tigers and a bag of Doritos on that boat. Like,
well, you've read the history boys, so it's like history is men doing things and women running around with a bucket behind them and catching it. Like that's what they act like it is. It's not that we're organised at all. And they always act like poor Eve is a harlot who led Adam astray.
She went on a jazzy adventure.
Yeah. I remember when I was like in primary school and we'd have to do like, because I went to such a religious school, a religious school. Like we went on, oh God, I'm going to have to do this now. We went on a retreat away. I mean, I show a lot of people this. We went to a retreat away. And every time we wanted to eat a meal, we had to do this. Jesus was a cool dude, 40 days of no food, living his life. His amazing grace saved the human race, spreading his love all over the place. Singing, we will praise you. Want to praise you, Jesus. We will praise you. Amen. Like that is the level of religious school I went to.
Sorcha, you went to a legend school.
Yeah. No. It
legend school.
Ridiculous. And like we still do this now, but at the time, like this is so normal. And I look back now, like, and I'm so the opposite way. I'm like, no wonder. That's what I was doing on my weekends.
Oh my God. Of course. Well, that's now what I want to do with my weekends. I think you've got me back in church.
I think it was called Castle Rig. I used to go do like team building. Yeah. But
I fucking Sorcha. If that isn't what you and Carl do for every single meal time. Every meal.
Enjoy your curry, Carl.
I love this. I fucking yes.
I don't know where I was going with that.
No, but no. I don't need you to go anywhere with it, Sorcha. I don't need you to.
Religion, astrology.
Yeah.
Jesus was a cool dude.
But that's interesting though, that because astrology is innately feminine. I mean, obviously there's so many men who partake in it and the
witches. That's why.
Right.
Jesus makes wine out of water and whatever out of bread, and he's a prophet. Women does it, burnt at the stake. Witch. Wouldn't they? Wouldn't they? Like, please tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I say to my mom. I'm like, where's the difference?
It's so true.
And Carl and I went to Edinburgh. And it was one of our birthdays, or it might be, it was definitely one of our birthdays. And we went on like a witch's tour. And they made us like wear witches' hats, like go around. It was great. And they were saying how all the women who were witches were the ones making medicine. That's like, it's like a cauldron and spices and potions, because they were the doctors. They were the educated women. Like, and they were just getting rid of them. They were the ones who were the widows who owned land that they wanted to take away.
The Crucible, which is obviously set in Salem, the witch trials of Salem, Massachusetts, it's so often the women who, well, I think I know it's going to kill me, I can't remember him, whimsy. A woman who shows an iota of whimsy or belief in something big or independence or like a school of thought that isn't the absolute given at the time. It is amazing. It's amazing.
Witch.
So almost it is really interesting that we're living in a time when astrology and the moon and looking at these things and understanding these other like universal things that are just bigger than is being eye rolled about.
And it is eye rolled, but I also think it's quite like undeniable at times that all the planets are going to make an effect on our world. Like when the moon is full, the tide naturally rises. Like things are affected by what's going on out there.
But indigenous cultures all still maintain and are looking at the moon and the stars. Like Australian Aboriginal, American Native Americans, like there's such
even farmers.
Yeah, and
like
attention to nature.
Calendar.
Exactly. And all the different names of the moons being corresponding to farming, to the harvest. Exactly that. And I think it's a really funny time at a time when we're getting so AI and we're getting so techie and we're getting so, about facts. We want facts and science to go, actually, it feels like we don't. It feels like we want a bit of order to the randomness. The randomness, despite the fact that we're being told we've never had more technological advances and we've never had, the AI is coming. Like, it's almost, they're coming. I'm
not going to lie, I really do love my ChatGPT.
I
love ChatGPT.
Best friend.
She knows voice note in ChatGPT. How's your day? I've just got a question for you. Love ChatGPT. Also, as a teacher, you naturally love ChatGPT because it's like your personal assistant.
But have you tried ChatGPT with horoscopes? Because she didn't know it all.
No, they got mine wrong.
Yeah.
They got mine wrong. I was like, lies. Liar.
You silly bitch.
Yeah.
You silly
and that's what I told her.
Robot bitch. Yeah.
So I don't trust ChatGPT with my horoscopes.
Absolutely love that. So we're going to leave science to ChatGPT and then we'll stay in the whimsy.
Exactly.
So I had a funny one. I do sometimes, like, I catch my magical thinking. I definitely can go to, I mean, part of the reason,
whimsy.
like, too whimsy. Part of the reason I got, like...
That's your Pisces moon.
My Pisces moon, thank you so much.
I'm undressing myself.
But part of the thing with, like, we talked about yesterday that I was so excited about you coming around doing the tarot is it has all felt a bit like squirrely and whirly. And I was like, I just need something to be like this. There is a sort of a need for like a rudder in the waves.
Someone else who is not in your brain to come and tell you something. And when I did your tarot, like I said, I was a bit anxious about doing it because I predicted a bit of death and it has all happened.
Yeah.
And so when people are like, tarot is rubbish, I'm like, tell those to the 2 people, including my dad, who are dead.
Carl was like, she will come and do your tarot. She stopped predicting death actually recently, so it should be fine. I was like, yeah, I mean, that would be great if she didn't come on the pod to tell everyone that my daughter's about to be orphaned.
Carl's never let me do his tarot cards. He's one of those people like, don't believe, but please don't do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've stopped predicting death. And yes, it was
really
a lovely,
good.
positive experience with tarot cards. But I did say to you, everything I'm about to tell you, you will already know. Like, you've just put your energy into those cards. This is coming from you. I'm just going to lay it out on the journey that you need to hear it. And that's exactly what happened.
Totally what happened.
Do you want to tell... kind of in your own words? I don't want to give too much away because they are an intimate thing to do.
They are. I think, I mean, that's actually, so the letter I wrote at the end of the previous episode, the cars episode, is kind of to do with it in that, and I'm honest about it, there's someone who probably is, and we'll use the analogy of in my orbit, who is too close and shouldn't be there and doesn't deserve his place there. And I think by virtue of what I've had the last year, which is, just having a baby and you're not like going out and sucking, seeing the world and meeting new people. There's a scarcity versus abundance thing, which is by the simple fact that he's the last person I had a massive crush on, he still occupies a place. A connection with, like, he still occupies a place in my life.
It takes a lot of time to build connections with people.
Yeah, it does. And it, especially when the job I do is I'm around so many men. All the time.
All the wrong men. Like, I knew what I would think. You probably see the worst of men. Because they're so honest with you, because they're not performing to you as like a potential suitor.
Yeah.
They're showing you themselves.
So the idea that you could have someone who comes in and makes you feel all these wonderful things, you just go, well, I don't actually. I don't really get that, and I don't really have that. So the faith goes a bit, and you just cling on to this thing that looks like a life vest, and absolutely is not a life vest, and it's going to pull you under. So Sorcha very much laid out exactly, again, which is what I knew, which is, hey, this thing has to go.
And it's painful.
Has to go.
And you're really rejecting it going.
Yeah.
Like every card.
No, I think maybe he'll change. Pretty sure he loves me deep down.
It was when you got to those final cards. It was like what was it? The devil.
The devil.
I was like, the devil needs to die before you get to the sun.
Maybe he's actually going to change.
No, that was your final.
That was my final question.
Like,
do you think? Sorcha was like, can you? No. What? Are you fucking fit?
Look at the cards. Look at the cards, Hatty. What did I just say?
But isn't that even enough? I do. I think, but it's funny with the magical thinking. I mean, exactly that. So it can get a little bit out of hand from like, no. I remember when I was trying for a baby, I had my insemination, like the embryo had gone in, and I saw one magpie on the way home.
Oh God.
So I was like, well, hasn't worked. Whoop. I guess it didn't work. One for sorrow. That's it. Didn't work.
You've got Irish in you because that's very superstitious.
No, I know, isn't it upset? But it's always in these patches of time when I've been the most out of control or the most unknowing that I've desperately sought the knowing, being like, this must be like the over looking for signs. I spoke to one of my friends the other day and she had just gone and got her tarot done because she'd seen her ex 3 times in 2 weeks. And she was like, must be something. Weird.
That is weird.
And she was like, must be something.
Or was she stalking him? I was outside his house, but it must mean something.
Yeah. But are you finding that in a world, like, we're all kind of, maybe if we all just got so much more happy with the not knowing, with the not being sure, with the it will come, clarity will arrive, I will know in time, that we wouldn't be searching and holding on to these things so much.
Yeah, and I think the older I'm getting, the more I'm enjoying the not knowing. I think when you're younger and stuff, you really want to know. Like, I've been to fortune tellers. They told me I was going to have 3 children. That's funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lies. But the older I've got, the more it's like, there's so much less surprises in life.
Yeah.
Like, you really have to, you know what's going on all the time. You're planning for your life all the time. You're making all your own decisions.
Yeah.
It's nice when things show up as a surprise. It's nice to leave something to the unknown, just put it out there. And I think I was always under the impression of whatever's meant for you will not pass you by.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to find you. Like, have you heard of the red string of fate?
No, I don't think so.
It's like a Japanese fable. And it's like everyone you're meant to meet in life, whether that's romantic, friendship, people are going to make a big impact on you. When you're born, there's like a red string coming out of your little finger and it connects you to everyone. But you'll only meet them when the time is right. And they're not, you're not going to not meet them, but you just have to let it happen. And when I was like reading your tarots, I said, everything is saying that if you keep hold of these old past connections, you're never going to open your mind to future things, that you have to let things go. And like enjoy it and love it for what it was. But move on, not hold on to it.
And that's a lovely state to be in, because at the same time of being accountable for your own life and, like I said, making the plans and going forward. I mean, there's also a degree of I control nothing, and actually I love that, and I should respect that. I should respect that fact of life. That
Sometimes it gives you like an existential crisis when you think, you look around at other people in the street, I think, you all have your own lives, your own things going on, your own secrets, your own inner world. And we are such a small speck, and we think our lives are so important because obviously we just live in our own heads and we're all very selfish people. But in the greater scheme of things, within 2 generations, you're going to be completely forgotten. Everything you've done is going to be forgotten. It's really not that deep or serious. So just like live your life and do whatever you want. Who cares?
And this is like a lovely moment to get, because we've talked about, and you can talk about as much as you like about about you having a baby one day, whether you want to have a baby one day, how you feel about motherhood. And you said something beautiful to me. I'll let you say it about how you feel now versus having the freedom to change your mind if you feel to. And I think so many women decide what they want. Both ways, by the way. They're like, no, I absolutely want kids. And you're like, you really, like, do you absolutely want that? And similarly, the ones being like, I don't.
No, I think the people who don't have kids are usually the people who've thought about it the most.
I agree, 100%.
Carl and I talk about it a lot. Sometimes daily. Especially now we're like 34, married. People are asking us about it all the time,
which is still unbelievable.
And but it's like a constant question, and as a woman it's mainly directed at you. So it is something we speak about, and we have gone through the whole spectrum of when Carl and I first met, and he was like, I want a massive family, 7 brides for 7 brothers. Like I want everything.
We're going to do musicals.
Seriously, he was someone who wanted loads of kids. And then as you go through your 20s and you think you've got all the time in the world, and it's like, maybe one day, and you can use that answer for a long time. In the future. And I remember being in Japan, and we're in this really romantic restaurant, like in like a little teepee tent. And sometimes I think I just like to throw bombs at Carl and see like how he reacts. I was like, literally, I did it. There's so many moments, but this was one of them. And I was like, Carl, if we got pregnant right now, I wouldn't want it. And he's like, where is this coming from?
Sorry.
We're like 28 in another country. He's like, Sorcha, people our age don't get rid of babies. Like, I remember that was his strict opinion. And I was like, no. Like, but it's people if you want a baby, I think it's a choice. And then that really wasn't discussed then. And then we moved back, we bought a house, and it was like 9 days later my period, and he was like, I don't want kids right now. And I was like, there we go. You had the same feeling I had 4 years ago right now. And it was like we were finally on the same page about it. And that's when we were maybe 30. So within 4 years then of these conversations, and we'll talk about it in like percentages. He'd be like, I'm 70% no, 30% yes. That's usually after we've seen like Dan's Child, Atta, or and it's like, that was cute, but then we know we don't want that. And the other day I was like, Carl, I'm 100% no. Like that is where I'm at. And he's like, me too. But people do keep telling me I'll get to 35 and I'm going to get this rush of hormones. I'm like, I need a child now. And sometimes you have to be open to, that could be a case. That could be the case. And I'm never going to be like, no, if that's how I feel, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, I said last year I really don't want children, so I'm going to deprive myself of this. If that's the case, then that's the case.
And I think that's something, I mean, I had Kay on who was talking, she very much doesn't, as things stand, she really doesn't want them. But I do see like women edge and box themselves into a bit of a corner on the fact that, like, exactly, they've made a decision however many years ago, they've identified themselves as someone who absolutely does or absolutely doesn't. And you're like,
But we change.
And again, I really need to emphasize this is not me being patronizing and sitting here being like to a childless woman, you'll change. Like, no, I think either way, it's such an important check-in. It's such an important you're doing every few months, just being like, do I want, like, a perfect example today. She was a lot this morning. Pickles was a lot this morning. And I was really really feeling overwhelmed and quite like angry with her. I mean, obviously, like, not at her, but like, I was really angry. And I suddenly realized, I was like, a year and a half ago, if you were feeling like this, I would have gone on a little trip. Like, I would have just taken myself off to a little quiet Airbnb somewhere, like, calm down. Because I'm not overwhelmed with her. I'm not cross with her. I'm just feeling a bit overwhelmed by everything.
Yeah.
But I don't have that pressure release valve. I don't have that release valve anymore. I don't have it because
someone who depends on you.
Someone who absolutely depends on me.
All the time.
There is, and I sat there, I was like, this is one of those trade-offs. This is one of those things that you lost. You've lost this. You grieve it. You can't just fuck off. I mean, there was this little like shepherd's hut on a hill in Wales that I went to.
Were you on Airbnb while she was screaming? Like,
honestly,
it's where I would be.
Sorcha, all right, like, I was like, I'd go here. And it's nothing like sexy and amazing. I'm not going to Ibiza and like letting it all go or like doing yoga on a cliff top. I just sit with my thoughts, calm down, read, like solidly read and like listen to music and whatever. And just, and you don't have that hat. And I think so often about, that was a moment for me. That was a real moment for me. And I love her. And I've always wanted this baby. And I got exactly what I wanted. I'm the luckiest girl alive. Now imagine having that feeling and it being in a life that you're like, I'm not even actually 100% I signed up to this.
Yeah.
Like I emotionally signed up to what this was going to be. That's terrifying. I think a lot of women feel terror sometimes.
I think people do it because they think it's the next stage.
I agree.
Without truly knowing who they are. And I think sometimes if I'd had a baby in my 20s, that might have been the case now. But I knew I needed that 20s. And I think when you get to your 30s, life can be like your 20s, but better with more money, more freedom. You know who you are more. Your insecurities are going. And I've enjoyed life so much more in my 30s. And then it comes to a point where it's like, oh, compromises would have to be made. And like ones. you've just spoken about those compromises. Like you don't have that freedom, but you have that unconditional love that I will never know from another person. And like I obviously don't know what that love feels like, so I'm not grieving or missing it. But you know what that feels like. Yeah. And I'll never know that feeling. And these are the trade-offs that you have.
It's totally that. It is just a series of trade-offs, and I think to be spoken about that, you then pick the ones that you're ready to give and reasonably. You know, you've really sat with it and decided. And also it's that funny thing, and Carl and I have spoken about it. People like you, there's always going to be such love of and for children in your lives.
I'm a teacher.
Well, exactly. And not just any teacher, like
special needs teacher.
You have what you give to these children who are much more on the much more vulnerable end of the scale, and what you do, and I know how much you do, and I know how much of yourself you give over. You are not someone who 9 to 5's your job by any stretch of the imagination. The idea that you've sat there and made a really like selfish call, you're like, it's unthinkable.
I hate when people call it selfish.
So do I.
My family members have called me selfish. Not my mum. My mum's very much like, you do you, whatever makes you happy. But like I've had aunties like, that's the most selfish decision you could make. And I sit there and think, can you please explain to me what is selfish about wanting to put myself first when there's no one else depending on me? If I had a child and was putting myself first, that would be selfish. And they go, but who's to look after you when you're older? Well, that's so
selfish.
much more selfish. I've got a baby to look after when I'm older. Like, I can't. And I sometimes think maybe they're calling you selfish because they've never been able to be selfish or make decisions for themselves. And maybe they're a bit sad or a bit that they've never had that. Because I know, like, my mum had me at 22, and these people who are saying this to me had children so early and never had the luxury of being selfish. Yeah. So maybe that's why it's coming out like that. It's more of a them thing than a me thing.
And it's also, I mean, the people in my life who are child free are the most selfless, like the most giving. They're the ones who are like, we're coming, do you need some help? Like, we'll get on the train. They're the people, I mean, looking after her while I'm on stage, checking in on me, dropping things off. It's the idea of this binary, if you do this, you are a good person. And if you do this, it's selfish and self. You go, it's so wrong. And P.S.
people are so closed-minded at times.
But it's annoying. But it is exactly what you said, which is, it's the people for who maybe they weren't, at least I think, I could be wrong, they need their decision-making to be right. Maybe they don't really, truly believe that themselves, so they need it to be backed up by all the people around them. Yeah,
I agree with that. It's like they want it reflected back at them. And they probably think, well, we've done our turn, like you need to bring more children into this family and whatever. But I was saying to my friend the other day, I said, we are the first generation of women, I can talk for my family, who have had the choice of the partner we pick. Like we're picking our partners based on who they are, like their character, what they can offer us, other than like, well, I can't open a bank account or buy a house or move out of my family's house without a man. We're able to live our lives for us more than my mom and my grandmother and any of those people. And I'm not wasting that. Like I'm very aware of how much freedom I have and the life I've built, and I want to enjoy it. And that's why I kind of sit there and really make choices based on me. And I also think maybe you spend your 20s learning who you are, and maybe you spend your whole life learning who you are, but 20s definitely going through a lot. I call it the
fancy dress box decade.
I would never do it again. I'd never go back to my 20s without the knowledge I know now. And then your 30s, you're really starting to understand what you want. And I feel like I'm 34 now, and I'm really, really living life for me. Especially when you've been in a relationship for 15 years. Like I said to you yesterday, I didn't have a selfish 20s where I could make all these selfish choices and mistakes and learn who I was in different ways. I was growing with someone else and being accountable to someone else. And now in our 30s, it does feel like you're reaping those benefits because our communication is finally on a good level. We understand each other. I can say those things to him. And I think about bringing a child in, having to relearn everything all over again. Like you had someone on your podcast the other day, I can't remember who it was, but they said something like, how do you keep like having a baby and keeping a relationship going at the same time?
Yeah, me and Katie talked about that because sometimes obviously I get a lot of people being like, God, it must be so hard. You're doing it all by yourself.
No, I'd rather.
I was like, I have to tell you, I actually a lot of time think it's easier because I don't also have to be investing in a relationship, and any healthy relationship is a work. And you know that, and like it takes time, it takes energy, it takes the effort. Carl spoke about this last week as well, which is exactly what you said, which is you have the big conversations, you've got the communication down, you prioritize it, which is huge. You understand that there are moments where there needs to be a chat because there's been a bit of a chink in the armor, or there's like a repair of something that needs to, and it has to happen. I don't have to do any of that, and I'm not then. And I'm not.
You feel guilty. You're not pulled from pillar to post.
I totally get why relationships.
To be a mother, a partner, a lover,
and
everything.
Failing at one. Failing at this, or at least, by the way, I don't actually think women are failing. I think it's the feeling that you're failing at something.
Oh, we see too much of other people's lives now. Like we see the Nara Smiths baking from scratch and ballerina farms and all the trad wives, and then you see everyone going out and living their lives, and you think you should be doing it all. No. You can't do it all.
Do you know the phrase I love about this? Women can have it all, just not at the same time.
I like that phrase.
I love that.
Because you're on a journey at the end of the day. You can't do everything at once. I have nervous breakdown.
God, I'll say. And I think they do.
Yeah, they do.
I think they do have.
And like when you're saying about doing it on your own is easier. Like Carl, this is like not a secret. I will say to Carl, I would rather have a baby the way Hatty did. We've got a lovely lesbian couple across the road. Their relationship, their mothering with their child looks gorgeous and easy because they are both taking the mental load. They both know what that needs. Like when me and Carl moved in together, there was like domestic training that had to happen because his mum had done so much for him. Like he was oblivious to what goes into running a household. And even though he's such a good partner, such a good man, couldn't do more for me. He has to be told what to do around the house. Like he has to be told what to get from the supermarket. Like, and that are little things compared to what he brings to my life. But I think it would be a whole training about with a baby, what was needed. And if he wants to sleep in, if he wants to, go off to Nashville, go off and climb Mount Kilimanjaro, go to India, not resentful at all. He can, and it's fine because I can do my own thing. But I know I'm not a gracious woman. I can be deeply resentful. It annoys me that he's having these amazing life experiences without me. I'm very vocal about it. Imagine me now if I was at home with a baby. Girl. No, we wouldn't last. I would be seething.
Would you send him up Kilimanjaro with the baby?
Yeah. No, I'd have left him at home with a baby and I'd have been up Mount Kilimanjaro. Like, I know what I'm like. I know I love freedom. I have a thirst and a hunger for life and those experiences. And I don't have that for raising a child. And I know how much my life would have to change and his wouldn't. I know. And I also don't ever want to deprive him of life experiences. Like I know he doesn't want to do that to me. But I can see what happens to relationships where you get tit for tat. And
God.
I'm used as the friend as tit for tat. I'm used for my partner has gone out the night before, let's go out. And I'm like, well, no, I have the freedom to go out whenever I want. But you're used for that because I can see it happening.
I totally get and I like to think, again, that I'd be a bigger person. I mean, tell you, girl,
I know I'm not the bigger person.
At all.
I know I'm not.
If he was out, got a loud stag do, I was like, fantastic, just book myself into that shepherd's hut. You'll never see me in Europe for 4 days. And again, that's me saying that's speaking to the pettiest part of myself.
But it's in us all. It's good to be aware of your petty side. Like, I'm very aware of my petty side. And like, I know this is not rational. I know this is really a really ugly side of myself, but it's here.
Yeah.
This is who I am.
And by the way, when you're sleep deprived and you feel like shit and there's a baby screaming at you, that petty girl, she's the one who's coming out. She's the one who's coming out to play.
The only time Carl and I are sleep deprived is when we're traveling.
Yeah.
And we have a rule that if we are traveling, we are not allowed to fight or bicker about anything. Like, we'll look at each other and go, I'm on 5%, and that means the other person like is like, Jesus, take the wheel. Like someone looked like someone. There was one time in Japan I said to Carl, I am now blind, and I shut my eyes and made him guide me 45 minutes to the train station. I was like, I'm done. We've climbed a mountain. I'm done. Eyes closed. Guide me blind to the train station. Like, and that's the most stress we have because she was a child. I'm now blind. Take the pram and take me.
I've gone. I've lost. I've left.
I'm
done.
Yeah.
I had what? Do you know what? I mean, obviously I'm a partner, but I remember there was one night, and I've spoken about this pod. My awful like 4 to 6 month period, like November, December was really rough. And there's one moment at 3 a.m, and I was at my folks' house. It was over Christmas, and I was just in the kitchen. She was, screaming upstairs in our bedroom. All safe, by the way, like in the cot. She was fine. And I was
self-soothing.
I was literally just having a moment to herself, and I was just like in the kitchen, on the kitchen, just like hands on the counter. And my dad sort of he's like, is everything okay? Can we do it? I was like, I don't care.
I'm disassociating right now. Hatty is not in the room.
I don't care what you do. I don't care what happens to her. I don't care if you pick her up. I don't care if you don't pick her up. I don't care. I don't. It's my equivalent of being like, I am now blind.
I'm now blind.
I'm now blind. I'm now blind. And by the way, like, obviously I was hopefully a good mummy the next day, but I was like, nope. And then you best believe if at that moment in time, my guy had been in Nashville having a lovely time, would have burnt every single possession of his in the house.
I'd have burnt the world down. My best friend is a redhead and her mother is a redhead, and when she was she'll kill me for saying this, so I'm not gonna say any names, but when she was angry at her husband, there's a lot going on, she would make a bonfire and burn all his possessions. Fuck yeah. She burnt his passport so many times to go in for an interview. And that is what redheads remind me of. That is the inner rage. If Carl told me, if I had a baby and Carl was like, I'm going to New York, then Nashville, then Las Vegas, which all happen very soon, he wouldn't be going because his passport would have been on the bonfire and he would have been having an interview. It's so, do you know, my mum is not a redhead. I was a complete shock, but my mum tells this story. So I was there first. They'd had a couple of very sad losses before me. And my dad was a rugby player at the time. And so he turned around to me. I was due at the end of August. And he turned around and goes, I've been called up for tour. So it will be first, middle 2 weeks of August. He's like, but I get back like a week before your due date. So is that all right? And she turned around and she's like, this like tiny little brunette. And she went, absolutely, of course. I'm just going to say this one thing. If you miss the birth of our child, I will never, ever speak to you again. Yeah. So just do with that what you will. Yeah. Didn't go on tour. Make your own choices. But it is that thing. Did you have to ask me this? Did you have to ask? Did you have to ask? Because now I hate you. Now I hate you. Now I hate you. And now I see you less. And I'm going to look for another baby daddy. I love you less now. It is the asking. I do. And I watch my mates do that. Like, I believe half these men, given time, would come to the right decision. Use your common sense. For the love of God. Are you asking? Are you actually? Why do you want me to make this situation for? Like, why do you want me to make this decision for you? You want me? Do you want me to give you? I'm not going to give you permission. Give yourself permission. And then suffer the fucking consequences. Your passport will be on the bonfire. Oh yeah, they're just so silly. I love this. I could talk to you all day, but we simply have to stop. Sarah Kate. What? No, I know. Let's another crazy story about my life. Let's come back. When all my cards come true, let's come back and sit here in like champagne era. Give it a year, and I want to sit down and I've got a picture. I took a picture of your reading, and we know. Did you put all those steps in place, Hatty, to get to the happy? You got the happiest card in the deck. Is your last card. I know. So if you don't follow through with all those other steps, you don't get the benefits. You're the friend I need. Yeah. You're the friend I need. We'll do it again in a year. Serica, you're the fucking best. We all know this, but it's just nice to be reminded. Serica Frith, everybody, you're the fucking best. Thanks for having me, Hatty. And thank you for lunch. Hello, and welcome to the letter portion of Haphazard this week. This week is... I actually wrote it for someone. I think I've done that in the past. But it's my friend's little sister
who I've known since she was a very little girl, probably about 5. And I realised when I hit my next birthday, well, not my next one, the one after, next year's birthday, I will have spent my whole 30s, every single year of this decade, single. I will have done the entirety of my 30s single. And I think if you told me when I was 29, when I came out my last relationship, that would be the case, I think I would have taken it very badly. I think that would have, to me, seemed awful. I'm worried that it would have kept me in that last relationship that was not good and was wrong. Because the idea, if you told me then you'll be single for your whole 30s, sounded horrifying and like I'd lost or I'd failed or I would be too far. But I don't know if anyone else gets this. Do you ever sometimes hit life things and you look around and you go, gosh, I'm so far behind that I won't ever catch up? And not that any life is linear. I think that's maybe the immaturity I had back then. I definitely had it back then because I used to feel quite strongly like that with acting. I used to feel with acting like, oh, I'm too far behind my peers. I'll never catch them up again, as though it is this race. And I suppose this is a really long way of saying, I can't tell you how grateful I am that I will have had my whole 30s single. And you might feel like that's someone trying to make good of a tough situation or deluding herself. I, number one, wouldn't have pickles. I would never have started stand-up. I would never have lived in Chicago. I would never have moved to Liverpool. I would never have had the adventures I've had, the friendships and relationships. Also, by the way, I haven't been in a relationship, but I do need to emphasize, I have been men occasionally. I've had some of the most like exciting, wonderful, joyful like love affairs and dalliances and sadnesses and all the stuff that comes with it. And I wouldn't change it. And I think I feel, and anyway, to go back to my friend's little sister, she's found herself single in her 30s. Now she's at the beginning of it. She is 31, I think now. And I've said to her, we've talked about it loads, and I've just, every now and again when I see her, I give her a cuddle and try and impart some sort of, hopefully not bleak or silly wisdom. So I just thought this week I'd write her a letter. I don't know why I've been thinking of her so much. I think it's because I know I'm coming to the end of the decade and being like, God, look at that, I did it. And I just wanted to write this. I imagine there's some of you in that position. So I suppose this is my version of imparting some hopefully not too silly wisdom. Dear Amy, so you found yourself single at a time when half your friends are passionately vowing in a church never to be again. First things first, enjoy the church. Enjoy their day. It's beautiful watching your friends be beautiful because happy people always are. Their lives are not, as Disney suggested, now going to be a happily ever after with not a day spent in anything other than matrimonial bliss. You do know this, but it may serve you to remember this always. You are not drowning next to their plain sailing. But you are going somewhere they have never been and may will never go. And it's time to start being really careful about who you take your advice from. Because people who have not been single in their 30s are never allowed to tell you how to be single in your 30s. Did they and their now husband have a 9-month break at 29, so technically they get it? No, they do not. Is their sister-in-law single too? Great, brilliant. No, they still probably don't get it. They're trying to keep you safe and ensure that you are loved by someone the way they love you. They want to see you be known and accepted and desired the way they feel known and accepted and desired. And to their credit, on the good days, it does sound pretty wonderful. But also, often, they want to see you live like them and to want what they have and think like they think, because it does a lot to quell the doubts that they themselves have about their own relationship beliefs. Because if everyone is doing it this way, then it must be the right way, right? Oh, also, the friend who is most outspoken and irrefutably correct about who you should be with and where you were going wrong in your love life will be divorced in 2 years and will start having to unlearn everything she ever knew about relationships. Stop taking advice from Ray Charles about what colours to paint your house. But they have never gone to the battlefield that you were on. They may have done a Tough Mudder, but they haven't been to Nam. Gird your loins, girl. It's about to get real. Welcome to the Shark Tank. Come on in, the water's lovely. It's riddled with piss because here in the singles pool is where the children play. You may be in your 30s and have a grown-up job and wear grown-up clothes and do grown-up things on the weekend and basically traverse the world like a grown-up. But you're about to spend your Saturday night with Sam, who lives at home, turns up in a Rick and Morty t-shirt, has a gym membership and 30 pairs of trainers, but hasn't read a book since A-level year and goes on 5 stag do's a year. Which you know, because at the tapas restaurant where he asks if they have chips, he will tell you about them. All of them. You'll meet Charles, who seems to be better. He can cook, he has a salary, he loves the theatre and foreign movies. But turns out, would you believe that all his ex-girlfriends were crazy? And he sees himself having kids in his late 40s once he feels ready. Code for little old Charlie fancies himself a young wife. It's not just the lads holding down the Peter Pan blanket fort. You'll hear from your smattering of single guy pals, all of whom, by the way, will have got out of the single pool by 35. That there are still a good few girls still refusing to do the work and recognise the difference between crush and calm, and assuming drama and destiny go hand in hand. They'll leave your lovely friend Joe for a man who, quote, excites them more, as indeed he does the other 8 women he is also texting. But they have to learn in their own time, in their own way. As will you. On this, you're going to make some mistakes. You're going to get hurt, quite badly actually, and not even necessarily by one guy. Over the course of a few years, a couple of them will leave you with battle scars. Not enough to take you to hospital, but enough that they'll be there forever. They won't be painful or unsightly, quite the opposite. In time, they'll come to be the patches of skin you stroke with a smile, reminding you of what you've learned and what you won't accept again. They'll be your favourite patches. Learn the difference between lonely and alone. Lonely is temporary, a fleeting feeling, an understandable wobble. It's okay. It'll leave you soon. Don't let it roadblock your way to alone, because alone is where the magic lives. It's where you sit with yourself and breathe in content. It's where the most comfortable quiet lives. A lot of people resist going there, and they're the unlucky ones. They're so scared of the monsters under their beds at night that they won't ever sleep alone, but you can, and you will. And whilst you'll never meet the monsters, you'll fall asleep to rain on windows, wind in trees, and birds on roofs. And also the occasional screaming match in the street. But honestly, everyone gets those, so grow up and get up and just video it like the rest of us. I'm not going to tell you that you'll meet someone and that they'll make it all worthwhile. I'm not going to tell you that you'll look back on these years and be glad it all happened, because that implies that something needs to come along and rescue you from this place. And that would be wrong. If I'm being honest, this body of water is the most free you may ever be. And if you can see that, if you can push past the kids and the piss and the captive sharks who only know how to swim in circles and maim and feed, if you have the bollocks to keep swimming in the direction of cooler waters and the peach horizon, it becomes the ocean, not a tank. And it could take you fucking anywhere. If I've learned anything about being single for the entirety of my 30s, it's that the best things are surprises. And I wouldn't rob you of those. It's the ocean, baby. Anything is possible. I'll see you out there, Hatty.